Actually, I've never run into this I've been in business for several years. This is the first time I've ever
Okay.
had it. And typically when we ask, what's been here before, it's in the client's best interest to, tell us exactly
Sure.
so they get the right person for the job.
Right.
I was concerned about this, so, I contacted him, I contacted Arthur Andrews, and I called him and I said that, I run into this, and I have a documentation, which is kind of standard for me, is to document conversations with, but I
It's good
told him,
practice.
I ran it, well, we're in a litigious world,
Sure.
I told him I ran into the concrete slabs and the metal tanks, and I thought, that it looked like it perhaps could have been a, old gas station or something, I'm not for sure that's what it is, but,
That's what it looked like.
yeah.
Okay.
So, he claimed he didn't know anything about it, but he checked with the former but he didn't sound very believable, like I thought maybe he was covering up. I asked why he hadn't checked with the former owners or building department. He said he never thought of it. I told him it was a demolition job, not an excavation job, and you could tell that he was, already getting kind of, like, not happy about it.
Right.
He just said I was supposed to live up to the contract. I said, well, the contract was for excavation, not demolition.
Mm-hmm.
Tried to explain that to him, and the conditions were different. Now, I understand I take the risk on, whether it's gonna be rock under there, or soil, or,
Okay.
but based on what I'd seen, that's why I gave the estimate. Now, as far as the, because he had given me, he provided me with that site and the construction blueprint.
Right.
Normally I would have done perhaps more investigation, but based on his, that's what I did, based on the information he
Okay,
provided.
so you used what he provided you as your...
Right,
okay.
right, as my guideline for the contract. So, because I'm a small business, and because
Mhm.
my small business is my reputation, I enlisted, wouldn't even say colleague, but a competitor, but a well-respected friend, competitor,
So, fellow excavator?
excavator,
Okay.
and asked him to review the site and tell me what his thoughts were.
What's his name?
His name is Jerry Gunther,
Okay.
and I sent him a memo on 5/8.
Do you have like an address or something where we can reach Jerry, or do you
I
have it
can provide a
at
phone
home?
number,
Okay.
yeah, 708-271-7300.
Okay, great, thank you.
And he is, he's got a little bit bigger operation, and he's been in business longer than I have.
Mhm.
And sometimes we do compete on the same business, but he has a very good reputation for being honest, and, and he's also given me some of his overflow business, he's
So you have a working relationship even though you
Yeah,
compete.
yeah.
So he's somebody that may be friendly to us if this ended up going to
Right, I mean,
court.
he would, because basically I was trying to help the guy out, but I also wanted to cover, my
Sure,
fanny.
sure.
So anyhow, he went out, I gave him the, I called him on the 8th, he kind of made it a priority, and by the 12th, he called me up and said, Jerry called, he said he had a chance to look at the site, he'd never seen anything like it either. The concrete is, in large slabs. He thought the two tanks were about 6 foot in diameter. They're side by side in a north-south direction. Jerry couldn't tell how long they were, since he could only see the ends, but estimated they would be, 10 to 20 feet long.
Okay.
So to even get them out would be...
So Jerry, does he think that this is stuff that a typical excavator could remove either? Does he think it's the
No.
same thing as demolition, requires demolition?
Right. He said, I asked Jerry how you could get the stuff out. I actually asked that same question,
Right.
you know. And Jerry said that you need to free up the stuff and use a hoist or crane, lift the tanks, larger cement slabs out, and get on a flatbed truck to haul it away. He suggested calling a demolition company, since they would have that kind of equipment. I told Jerry I'd pass on the information to the owner. I asked him to put it in writing. He said he would. You know, I offered to pay him for his services of doing like this estimate. He declined. So he sent a letter that says, you know, basically, you know, to me, which I then forwarded on, but it's, Dear Gina, I'm writing this letter about it. You know, I can provide you this letter. It's from May
Sure.
13th.
Okay.
But it's basically describing what he told me in the phone call. The tanks in concrete are several feet long or wide. The tanks are all below the lot surface, sometimes several feet down. I've never seen junk like this in an excavation site before unless I knew there was a previous building there. And that's basically the key is, like, there's no reason to hire an excavation firm when you need a demo. I mean, like, by tricking somebody into
Right.
it, like, that's not standard,
Okay.
you know. You know, sometimes they don't know if there was a building there before and we knew there was a building there before or anything.
Right.
Then we'd at least know to like
Look
look
into
into
it.
the city and,
Sure.
you know, but
And he never said that there
he never
was
said
anything.
there was anything. And
He
you
said
know,
it's
that,
vacant, he's owned it for
right,
years.
it's vacant,
Okay.
and you know, the area is not so well developed that it couldn't have
Mhm.
never been developed.
Right.
So anyhow, let me know if there's anything else I can do for you, and then he signed it, you know, on that date. And then I sent that on, that was on the 13th of May. I drafted a letter to Arthur Andrews on the 16th of May. Now, I probably should have done that the next day. You know, I had a little issue, personal issue with family, so I could not get this out, but we did send it within 3 days. And I sent the letter, and I gave the address, you know, P.O. Box, to take a look at the site. I sent the letter, and at the same time, I also sent them a bill.
Okay.
Like half the thing, because I did dig out half of it
Sure.
and remove.
So you're just billing for the half that you did.
And, right, and but half for you know, digging it out and half for
Removing
the
the dirt.
removal.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, you've given me a lot of information here, so I just want to get into a couple things. Have you spoken to any other council about this?
No,
Or-
I don't, I spoke with your colleague,
Yeah, my partner, right?
and I kinda got the impression that I might not need to do anything,
Okay.
but maybe I just wanna make sure, I have like a lot of money invested in my small business.
Sure. You want to protect yourself.
Right,
in
and,
case.
and, you know, I'm a sole practitioner, so I wanna, not practitioner, but sole, you know, small business owner, and I don't wanna have any personal liability in terms of
Right.
losing my house or anything.
Certainly. And you so that you have not been sued as of right now.
No.
Right. All right. And then I just want to make sure that I have know all the related parties that are in play here.
Okay.
You've mentioned Arthur Anderson. Is that his last name? Andrews.
Andrews.
Arthur Andrews.
Mm-hmm.
Does he have anyone? Is there anyone else?
Oh, that's good. Yeah, you know, I was relying on, from his business, like, I was relying on his site from
Okay.
City Construction Company.
Okay. City construction.
And it's dated from 4/1
Okay.
of this year.
So that's who provided the blueprint.
That's the one that gave me the site sketch and told me, you know, where the lots were and what they wanted excavated, and,
Okay.
you know, that there was, you know, there was no, like, utilities marked on it or anything like that, yeah. So, City Construction, relied on them as well.
Okay, and then you've also mentioned Jerry. I have Jerry's name down. Jerry Gunther. Is there anybody else that has dealt with this issue, maybe that works for you, or anybody that could potentially be a witness for us if you did end up getting sued or something?
Well, there's just my secretary, Monica.